What is up? What is up? Yes, it is I, the great Saint, and we're here back again with another episode of Saint Talks. Today we are joined by a very special guest. Say hello.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Look, it's Tristan here, and glad to be here. Thank you for having me here, Saint.
Yes, yes. As you might have guessed, was Mr. Tristan here. We are here to discuss a very long surviving, a very well known, and definitely one of the. I think that for at least for the people that have been here longer, this league has been around since basically as long as they've been around. This league is of course the IPA, and today we are here with another interview of what the IPA is to give you guys some background and to open up the horizons. Maybe you guys will look into playing in the IPA for future seasons. There's definitely some very unique things about the IPA for sure, and I can't wait to delve into it. What about you? What about you, Tristan? Are you excited?
Yeah, the fact that we had enough applicants over this last application period going into Gen 8, or no, not even Gen 8, going after our first Gen 8 season and then going into our second Gen 8 season. And then we had enough applicants to reopen up our IPA mining division or mining league rather, and we have some pretty good competition there apparently. So it's pretty fun to watch those games
For
happen.
sure. And I just think it's so nice to see the IPA, striving again. But of course, we must start by the basics. So the first question that I've got is, how was the IPA formed?
Okay, so I was part of the first season, but I was not in any sort of way part of like the quote unquote committee, I guess, that formed it up. Basically, what ended up happening was that if you're an old time player, kind of, if you know about the GPC league, the one that are going, or it's not going anymore, rather, but it was going a long time. It used to be a TTM March Madness, like one of those special leagues, A couple of the key players there being Matthew Kite, mostly. Good guy, amazing guy. Matthew, I think Tom Bradibus, I believe, Shane G, and a couple, like those four, I guess, were the main ones. They decided to branch off and make their own league, and basically they just started gathering around players. Some of them went it went kind of based off Twitter, like try to recruit from there. That's actually how I was recruited. I forget like how, but I think I was what I I was just on Twitter and I typed in Pokemon Draft League, and there's just something from Joey Pokegame, and he retweeted someone that said asking him to retweet. I can't even say words, but Ethan asked him to retweet looking for a league. So once he did that, I'm like, hey, that looks like a place I want to go, or not even just that's just a place, I guess. And so I asked Ethan if I could join him on his escapade to join a league, and whether not funny enough or anything, luckily enough, we just ended up joining into this league, and it wasn't even named the IPA. We, as a league, or just as a group of people, I guess, we voted on the name and what it should be. We had like a couple different names. All of us, not even all of us, but just a couple of people in the group, like, oh, IPA. I think it was like IPL. Like, we had a couple different names, and we voted on IPA, and that's how it started back in January 2016. So 4 years and change going on. Saying that's insane.
4 years, yeah. I think IPA is safe to say. I think it's the longest running league if you don't count the fact that the Hive is combined of two leagues, or like multiple leagues that were also started at the same time. But definitely one of the one of the oldest leagues that remains. It's older than OLT, DGBA, all that stuff, by quite a while.
Yeah, I think like I heard Hive was like a whole different league before they went into actually being Hive. So, well, we were just like GBA was going at the time, UCL, GPC. That's all I could really remember that was prevalent at the time.
Okay.
Maybe PPL, I think. That was a thing, right?
That was thing way back and before my time, but
Yeah.
that was a
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's how we kind of really started, and just that was my second ever draft league I joined, because the first one, uh, the main man, Owen Carvana, uh,
time.
he we were part of the GBAD League Riders group together, and he got me into my first league, and then I branched off and looked for another league myself, and I found what now is the IPA, or not. I didn't find it, like I didn't start it up, but like I found the group of people that started it up.
All right. Okay, well, the next question is, I mean, I feel like you already addressed this somewhat in your question, in your answer to the first question. But how did you get involved in this league? You know, what obviously, you know, Owen helped influence, you know, you getting in,
Mhm.
you getting in. Uh, but you know, how did you like get involved and eventually become the commissioner of this league?
Yeah, no. So like I already explained the origin stories basically, but being I guess taking more of an authoritative role, I guess you would say, is I used to be like a real shit stormer, you know. Like I used to like kind of butt heads with Matt over like a lot of different things, like, oh, like rules should probably be like this to accommodate these kind of things and kind of stuff like that. um because I think to start, like the days of the week that we ended, the weeks that matches were due were Saturdays. It's just like, come on now, we could do better than that. um but yeah, no, so like it was I butted heads a lot, and it was all, I didn't mean to, like I wasn't trying to be a shit disturber or anything, but it's like when it comes down to it, um first season IPA went, and then the second one going into the third one around there, um, we ended up, or not we rather, but Matthew unfortunately had some medical issues going on where became more absent, and not wanting to see the league die, I decided to take over the the little, I guess the little spot that there was in terms of keeping the document updated. And if someone asked for an extension, hey, you know what, it's not going to hurt that much. Just hey, get the game done, you know. And because we're like, they're all good, decent-hearted people, so they're not going to take advantage of a situation. So yeah, I started doing the little things around, and then when the new season came up, it's hey, you know, when the new season came, like we had like Skype calls. For one, the fact that we were a Skype league to start off, insane. The fact that it was 4 years ago or so, you know. um, and then had like big Skype calls where we'd go through like all the division, or not the divisions, but the tier list. We'd do tier list together. We just have a good time. You know Carney, right?
Yeah, Carney Hobo.
Oh yeah, the Carney Hobo, the man, myth, legend himself. Ed Carney, what, like he was a blast to have in calls, that's for sure. And yeah, so um, between doing doc work and uh, going over tier lists and just doing the little things, I ended up taking more and more of a role. Then when finally moved over to Discord, uh, it was like quote unquote official, I guess, that I was an admin, and we just worked together through everything. And like, unfortunately, I guess Matthew became more absent. I don't think it was due to his medical issues. He came out of that pretty well, but he just got busy with work, and uh, he just didn't have a lot of time. So I just kind of stepped up, and it's weird hearing like commissioner, because I never really considered myself as that type of person. So yeah, it I think if you look at a couple like different applications I've sent out with like a little message to them, it's like I don't think I've put that I'm a commissioner. I think I've always put that I'm an admin, because to me, I didn't really want the uh, I guess the title of it. Like I didn't want to take away that, hey, you know, I'm not the owner of it. I'm not the head honcho, I guess, but the fact that there wasn't there was an absence at the very top. I guess people just really let me have that role. So if everyone else considered me that way, then more power to it, I guess.
For sure. Let's see. And of course, I've seen that as all leagues do. Especially one as such a long and respectable history, such as the IPA. Like obviously, there's got to be some changes that have happened over time. Can you go over some of those changes that have happened?
Oh God, there's so many. If I were to look at the season 1 doc that's still on a Google Drive somewhere, battles were due on Saturdays. What else? We used to be one of those leagues that used to have like just straight up divisions, and we had
I remember
we had
this.
we had our schedules based on our division. So weeks 1, 2, 3, and 6, 7, 8, you would face the 3 other teams in your division twice, and you would do two teams in your conference for weeks 4, 5, no, for 5 or not, 5, 10, and then you do 2 outer conference games for weeks 4, 9. It's like, so we used to be divisions, and that stuck for about 6 seasons or so, I believe. And so it just ended up coming to a point where there's this, with the benefits that I feel like that kind of format, the division kind of format brings with a little bit more competitiveness and such. There was some real big downsides to it, such as the infamous Papa Max getting smurfed out of a playoff spot at 7-3 in one league, or in one conference, I guess, while 5-5 got in the playoffs in the other conference. So there are some negative things about it. Some people wanted more diverse schedules, because if you were to face the same 3 people twice each, you only get about 7 out of 16 people that you could possibly face before playoffs, even if you make it. So there are some different things between scheduling and moving from divisions to just straight up top 8, or no, top 6. A lot of people wanted top 8 for a while and just moved to top 8. Funny enough that we moved to top 8, I think, just because I forgot to change it from an off-season tournament. So it went from top 6 to top 8, just because I was rushing and I didn't remember it, and so it just happened like that. What else was the different playoff, or not playoff, but like points formats? I know that we'll get to this eventually, probably, but IPA has a very unique point format. We do different stuff. So we used to have a whole gambling system, the only league of that kind, and it was the most, how would I put this? The most broken and yet unbalanced, and yet confusing thing to ever fucking do. It was just insane. It'd go based off your current standings and who you're facing in their current standings, and people get to bet on you. There's this one game between not even the OG, but the good boy, B-Nas. Everyone was favoring him. I believe it was against Marcus, and everyone started betting on Brian. And there was like a total, like it was afterwards, but everyone that voted, or not voted, but bet on Brian, there was a combined 29 points lost, and I think people bet 2 Pokemon as well, and all that was thrown down the drain and what is now known as the IPA stock market crash. So,
that's a creative way of putting it.
Oh yeah, Brian couldn't pull through, man. Brian couldn't pull through. But hey, that's just like kind of what did I say? Like the surprise factor, the unexpectability, of the IPA. You never really know who could win each week. and that's something that we've kind of held to a point.
Sure.
Overall, there's just a lot of stuff. We moved from that kind of format because the format back then was the rich get richer and get richer and richer and richer, while the bottom just really just tails off and has no chance whatsoever. We moved over to a format that we feel is best, that everyone, like the rich still get richer, but you still have the chance to, if you lose a week or so, then you still have the chance to not be as far behind and you could still help yourself in the sense. So I think a lot of changes, probably for the better overall.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that actually, because the next question is actually about your point system, like that you just mentioned.
Oh,
Can you like briefly explain like what that format, what that format is, and like
okay.
and how it works?
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna go off the current format that we currently have, because going into all the gambling again and everything would be a little bit of a hassle. But the one thing that hasn't changed, I guess, in the IPA since season one is the idea of, hey, during the season, you get these points and you can make your team better. You have a developing system where you could develop your team and have a better team to however you want it, whatever you want. Um, so basically, we just kind of translated that over through the seasons, whether through edited gambling rules or even weekly Hunger Game simulators where you get points. You have the chance to get points. Let's not get too rushed into that. But now we moved into a different situation, which I'll kindly explain. So basically, this season, you start off with 90 points, 90 draft points, and you have the ability to draft 8 to 11 months. We are not binding you in any way, really, and except for you have to have 8 to 11 months. How you spend your points is up to you, except for the quote unquote meme pick that if you choose in the first round. This season we had the meme pick of Toxel. Last season was Snom. A couple other ones we've had are, I forget what they were actually. That's sad. I think we had Caterpie there once. We had Cosmoem. That was the first one, and that was the most legendary one because Noah, aka Kingsicle, he took Cosmoem round one, and he won the season. So
Goats.
yeah, he won the season. That was the best season there because like that it ended the Owen dynasty because Owen won the last the last two seasons in Magyar at that point, and it was like it was just terrible. And the fact that Noah ended up pulling it out at the end because of I think he had Cosmic Power, Calm Mind, Clefable, and then he had no speed, and Owen had no speed in a Choice Spec Sylveon. So at the end, when it came down to a speed tie with Clefable and Sylveon, and Clefable won that, and Noah won the whole game. It was absolutely insane. Like everyone went crazy, and he is the legend that he has been since then. Yeah, he became a legend in IPA, and he even came back for this season. He replaced someone in Magyar, and now he's 3-0. Like he hasn't played Pokemon competitively for a while, and now he's back in 3-0 because he's just Kingsicle. He's
just that good, man.
Yeah, like that was kind of off the point, but yeah. So we had these. This season you have 90 points, and throughout the season you gain points to improve your team. So you start off with 90 points. You could get a lot of points throughout the season. You probably go over what you need, but at the end of the season your team could still consist of 8 to 11 mons and could be worth up to 110 points. So you have 20 points buffered that you get throughout the season, and you basically from there you just buff up your team as much as you can. And the ways you do that is we promote no Johnning That's for damn sure, because we give you a draft point if you just play your damn game on time, dude. Like that, like give people points for not johnning. That's a hell of a way to do it. So we do that. If you win your game, you get points. If you get a 4-0 and below, you get 1 point. If you get a 5-0, you get 2 points. And if you get a 6-0, then you get a wheelchair emote or reaction on your replay, and you get 3 points. So simple as that. Then on top of that, as we did in the past, we had gambling, and we used to do gambling and Hunger Games, but then we were like, both of them were a lot to kind of handle at the same time, because either I would or someone like another admin would, but just it was a lot of different work, and sometimes just Hunger Games would be skipped over on some weeks. It's like we just need to step back and figure out something else, and that's why we have our own, like, coaches do their own pick'ems, and so they could do their own pick'ems for their own league, and based on how many pick'ems you get right, you get points. If you get 1 to 2 pick'ems right, you get a point. 3 to 4, you get 2 points. 5 to 6, you get 3 points. 7, you get 4 points, and if you get all of them right, then you're the best damn pick'ems player alive, and you get 5 points for that. So yeah, so a lot of opportunities for sure to end up getting more points and to end up helping your team. The only thing I would say with that, though, is if you ever think about dropping your mons in free agency, the way we buffer out the point system is you have to take a 75% reduction hit. So or 25% reduction hit, basically, rather. So if you drop a 10-point mon, you only get 8 points back, because if you do 75% rounded up, it equals 8 points. So you don't get full value back on your mons, basically. And so that's how we try to even it out a little bit. And even then, you still have enough to really help yourself out, if I say so myself.
It's a really unique system, and I think that the IPA is definitely the only one that actually does it and has stuck to doing it for all this time. Definitely a super unique and interesting idea. So if any of you new guys are looking for like a different style to play that isn't just this traditional, free draft or tiers or points or anything like that, maybe IPA is the way. Maybe you just need to be challenged with different points. Because I'll tell you what, from experience, from replacing a team, like, okay, when I replaced, I actually didn't know about the whole point exchange thing, so I kept my team the same the entirety since replacement. So I used the same team to end the entire season. But from experience, it's actually like a good way to actually like improve your drafting, right? Because you're forced to start with a point restriction that you wouldn't necessarily usually have. So if the challenge is it helps you develop a better understanding of what to prioritize when you're drafting, what mons what mons can help you.
Yeah, and it's like there's different ways you can go about it. Like at the initial draft, you have 8 to 11 mons. You could either go 8 mons, try to get the best mons for just like a general group of 8 mons. If you're doing an 8 mon draft, or if you budget your points enough, you could get 11 good to semi decent mons, or maybe you get a couple like non thoughts at the end for just memes or whatever. But it's at the end, it's like you get to decide how you draft, and you get to improve on it no matter what you go with, as long as you are active and participating, really. Because if it's sad to see that the IPA is such a format that it's sad to see when I'm going through docs and stuff that there's people that decide not to do pick'ems to get maybe like the average I think is like around 2 to 3 points per week for someone. And so it's like it's sad that someone doesn't want to try to upgrade their team and be better throughout the season. So
for sure. It's a whole strategy.
Oh yeah, and it's also sad for those johners that don't get their games done on time. Like we're not heavy punishers of like, oh well, you can't extend the game then. But it's like you lose out at one point. Like you don't know where that extra point's gonna come in handy.
For sure. And obviously that can be such an advantage depending on what stage you are in the season. If your team is just that much better than somebody else's, like you have the advantage, and that's not changing. So
I think this season, to start the season, I went with 9 mons, I believe, and to start off the core, basically, I had Mega Lopunny, Melmetal, and Latios, and that just started off the whole core, and then the rest is just mons that I feel like I needed to fit on there. Like, first off, Vika Goat needs to be on my team no matter what. Like, I thought that was going to be like a mon that I could wait on to like round 6 or so, but then the mon I was gonna go with got sniped like 1 or 2 picks before me, I believe, and based off that, I'm like, I don't know what to go with. I'm looking, my timer's running. I'm like, I'm just gonna go Vikavolt this round. So round 5, Vikavolt ends up sniping Shy Guy, who's 1 pick after me. I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. Like, the fact that I was able to have this is like really good for me. And then I also have Sylveon, Tentacruel, Delmice, Piloswine as well, and I think that's, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's actually it or something like that. Yeah. So I went with like a more pricey, important mons start off, and so far I'm 2-0 with it. So I'll take it.
But the thing is that because of your system, you're gonna run into eventually towards the end of the season teams that are more competitive that can actually match yours, right? Yeah. It's almost like mind games, and it's very interesting and very unique. Okay.
Exactly, and the fact that like our periods for like we don't have like just a straight up, hey, you could do any free agents from week 2 to week 8 or something like that. We have like specifically designed free agency or trade periods that you do at the ends of week 3, 5, and 8. So it's like, okay, well, you have to live with whatever team you have at the end of the draft or the grace period, and you have to live with that for the first 3 weeks. Then from week 4 and 5, well, you could use your free agents to kind of counter team that kind of format, and like you could try to counter team for the next couple weeks based off that playoff period, or not the playoff, but the free agent period. And at the end, at the week 8 period, it's like, okay, well, hey, if you're in the playoff spot, you might really want to take into consideration what you're going to be facing, you know?
For sure. Okay. Let's move on. Wow, that was a I'm sure that was quite a mouthful.
It is.
But let's move on to the very last question, which is, a stretch of time basically when I remember where the server added some people that such as Casper, G-Blaze, and all that, and there was a stretch of inactivity within the server itself. But now the IPA is back kicking. But can you kind of explain like what happened to cause that, and how you guys are revitalizing the IPA now?
Okay, well, yeah. So for the longest time, the IPA was pretty exclusive, rather, and it was like we were really closed and shut doors, and we kind of just had our little group at that time. We had some banging calls and everything, but what ended up kind of happening was, within having those closed walls, there were some suggestions from higher up admins and such, and or not higher, I don't want to say higher, rather, but there are some suggestions from admins, and the thought process kind of went, what's the worst that could happen? Spoiler alert, the worst happened. And so I'm like, if it doesn't work out, like if they cross lines within the server, then they're out. And I guess it was like a matter with people such as Casper, G-Blaze, I guess. What really ended up happening was, I guess, if I were playing it in a sense, was they joined, and their presence, I suppose, made it into a more like, it made the environment of the IPA either more hostile or more awkward in some senses. And there's been periods of IPA where there's just some really toxic people. Like, don't even get me started on Zexus, dude. The guy, John's AP or ABP Nico for like 2 weeks in the championship game. And then during the championship, he says that he's playing drunk. And it's like, it's the guy gets on admin's ass saying that, oh, why should a guy that's in the military deployed in Afghanistan, why does he get an extension but I can't, when he didn't even try to do anything? It's just so damn toxic. Like, but when it came down to it, just uh, I'll be the first to kind of admit that it's like some iffy decisions were made in terms of the environment that really caused that period, where it was, hey, if they aren't doing anything inherently wrong in the format, I suppose, or not even in the format, but in the server, like if they're not causing arguments, if they're not being toxic to other people, then they shouldn't. Then they should, I guess, get that chance, because overall that'd be. I was the one in charge at that point, I guess you would say, and for me, it was. I want to press forward the ideals and thought process that the original IPA owner, Matt. I want to move forward what he would do, and he was always a family. I don't want to say family as in like a like an actual family guy. I don't think he has kids or anything, but he was a family guy in terms of, hey, he wants everyone to feel like a family, and he wants everyone to have open arms, and he doesn't want to do anything if no one is doing inherently wrong. So I basically kind of passed on through that, and it turned out to be kind of the wrong decision, because it basically, I guess if there's a word, or not even words to describe it, it's just people decided that they didn't want to be around for kind of that, and so they moved on to leagues that have admittedly better communities. They're in leagues such as, say, Hive, DGBA, etc. It's like when that kind of stuff happens, it's just like, okay, well, what do you do? I don't know. If the people that were there, and it's like the big thing is, when it comes down to it, there was just, I don't want to say it in a certain way, but the amount of care about what happened in the server kind of dissipated, I would say. And the amount of the amount of care for one, and then the just the people that really called, like, the IPA, like the community, the people that were really there to start things off, I guess, they kind of just moved on, and there was really no one to, I guess, fully bring that sense of what the IPA was around. I guess I'd say that's the best way to say it. So really, what we're doing now to try to solve that is, like, we did open our server. Our server is open. Like, feel free to come in. We do that because we would like to add people to the server, and we want to try to bring people on the server that will have a sense of care for the server. We want to have the people that will participate, such, and that's basically what we've done. I know that I've been seeing around that there's been a lot of, I don't want to say IPA hate, but there's been some not so nice things said about IPA lately, I guess. And it's just like, granted, I don't know if I can disagree with some of the things they say. But if the IPA is not for you, it's not for you. Uh, we want to try to make it that's for everyone that could possibly be, but the amount of I think that they discredit the amount of work that goes behind the scenes. They discredit they don't think about everything that it kind of means to me, because the IPA is that's my home. That's a place that for the draft league community, I've called it home for the last 4.5 years at this point. It's to go around and see some people just be like, oh, IPA is either dead or IPA is just like I've seen some people say that it's like just pretty like shit and stuff like that. It's like, wow, those words kind of fucking hurt. But you know what? I can't stop what they think. And if that's what their opinion is, I can only try to do what I think is best, I guess, and try to make things better. And that's kind of the point that the server is open now. I know DGBA. I watched your podcast with them, with Haz and Jack. Yeah. By the way, if you haven't watched Saint Talks episode 2, I believe, with featuring DGBA, you should definitely do that. But yeah, no. So it's like DGBA is open, and it's like, so they could do it. I don't think it's really a war in any case where it's like, hey, there can't be like like not even an open, but like a healthy community sense. It's like, if you're rooting for a league to kind of die, that's kind of not cool. it's just, I believe that Pokemon is the game that connected us all, really, and we should really just kind of be hoping that the leagues should kind of stick together in this sense. It's like, we don't want to see leagues die. We don't want to see connections be lost, because Pokemon's done a lot when it's come to building connections.
For sure.
And
yeah.
The last thing is that I'm just gonna say is IPA is an open server. It's welcome to everyone. Maybe if I'll send the I guess I'll send an invite link to Saint to put in his video or something. Or even if you look around, or even send me a message on Discord, or literally, I bet you could message a lot of people. It's like invite link to the IPA is not that hard to find, and once you get it, like, say hi. Like, we're more than happy to say hi, and yeah, and I think at this point, Starfish wants to say something here.
Yeah, really quick. I just wanted to mention about the IPA. Like, when I first joined the server, like, I joined a lot of servers just because I like being a part of like the community and all that. But when I first joined the IPA, I don't think I was getting it nonstop, just messages like, "Hey, welcome." They're very welcoming to me. Like, not many servers do that. They'll say they're very welcoming, but IPA was like incredibly welcoming. And then like one night, I was just having a really shit night. I saw Tristan and I think it was Michael in call. And they're just watching a bunch of Adam Sandler movies, and we just sat there and we watched movies, and it cheered me up. And I was having like one of the worst days ever, and they just cheered me up. So like, it's a very welcoming community, and so like to say that that's dead, I think that's pretty shitty. So I appreciate the server for that.
Starfish, you could attest to this. Like, what? You're 2 hours ahead of me. You're up till 5 a.m. Up till 3 a.m. Michael's in Korea right now, so he's in like a very different time zone. But like, we stayed up late just watching a bunch of different movies. We watched Don't Mess with the Zohan. We watched Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry. Like, we were just having an amazing time together. And the fact that you never saw those movies too, or you saw Zohan, I believe.
Yeah, Zohan is the only one I watched, and they just introduced me to a bunch of movies I've never seen. So like, I got a really good experience out of it. So.
Oh yeah, and it's just awesome to have you around, and it's like, we're just bullshitting overall. Like, we're just having a good time. Michael just wanted to watch movies for some reason because oh, you know what? He went to Korea, and he was forced to be on quarantine, so he had nothing better to do than just have his like big pile of movies that he downloaded onto his laptop to just watch. And yeah, we had this plan to like watch like so many different movies. I think we ended up watching like 6 like between a couple nights. So it,
Wow.
it
Only
yeah,
6, just 6.
oh
Alrighty.
only. And it's like saying like if there's someone that could attest to my sleep schedule, it'd be Saint. Like Saint, how's my sleep
Fact.
schedule?
Oh, it's not good. It's not very good at all. Yeah, no.
Saint asked where I was. Saint asked where I was like 2 nights ago. Like, where are you? At 2 a.m. I'm like, I'm right here, dude. What's up? He's like, how'd I know you'd be awake? I'm like, dude, I slept from 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. Like, I'm awake. Let's go. And so yeah, I'm a PST gang, but it time zones don't matter to me. But there's a lot of people in a lot of different time zones in the IPA, except for Mountain Time, because apparently that's an untime zone. It's
Don't
like
worry, it is. Definitely
IPA
is.
IPA has been running for 4.5 years, and we've only had one Mountain Time zone.
I can't
person
say throughout
come
my
through.
3 years on Discord ever meeting one person that's MST.
Exactly.
Nobody's
That's
MST.
big. Yeah, no, that's the thing. We have a lot of different people in the league, a lot of different time zones, and like Starfish attested to, we're more than welcoming to have anyone in there that's actually going to be active and participate and just be a part of the community, because that's what we really kind of want to, I guess, rebuild is the right word. I want to. There's a time where there's times where people there's like those kind of bad comments, but then there's like these. I saw a couple good comments about how there's like some people just loved it when they were there and when things were like in the prime, I guess you'd say. And so if the IPA could end up going back to that prime, I guess you'd say, then the IPA would be like nowhere near dead, and IPA would be possibly as healthy as ever and probably the most unique league out there still, with between our point system and everyone we have. And we promoted one of our now admins, Kersey. The guy has a heart of gold. He does everything and he loves everyone. Huge weeb. If you're a weeb, I mean, he opened up the now I think it's called Weeb World, and so it's like if you like anime, hey, there's gonna be a lot of people there, I think, that will join you in talking about anime. So yeah, IPA is a place for a lot of people, I think, and it just takes the time to be there and just say hi. And if you say hi, I'll do my best to say hi back, except if I'm asleep at from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. But that's like my time right there. But but yeah, no, it's like, other than that, I'm sure there's someone that's gonna say hi, and we want to be welcome to all, and that's what we're gonna aim to be, and we're gonna keep on kicking, basically.
Long story short, join the IPA. It's a very welcoming environment, especially if you're newer to the community, and they really are one of the better run leagues that for newer guys. A lot of people probably haven't heard of it, but for those of us that have been here much longer, IPA is still a real league that people can contend in. So don't knock it until you try it. At the very least, it doesn't hurt to at least just join the server and see what it's all about. Who's to say you won't meet somebody cool that's in the server, that you'll end up making friends with. All servers have somebody that's and interesting. So yes, definitely give IPA a try. Very like we were saying, very very unique environment for sure. Definitely definitely something to try if you've got the time, and you just want to try something like very unique, uniquely different. Then maybe IPA is the place for you. Like I
And
said, like what we all been saying, so very open, very open,
Mhm.
friendly environment.
And the thing is, like, we're in the middle of the season right now. We're at the near the end of the week 3. But it's like, if you're going to be new to the server, and if you're interested in either playing or just seeing how things are run, I mean, we're open to explain anything and everything to you. We're there, and we'd be happy to either get your interest, or at least get you to figure out what we're all about. That's what we're here for. So yeah.
For sure. Let's see. Is there
Is
anything?
there
that we
anything
have
else?
not mentioned? we've gone through quite a lot of reasons as to why you should play in the IPA. That's for sure. But yeah. I think I'm pretty sad, to be honest.
Yeah.
Tristan, you got anything else to add before we call it a day?
No, I think I'm good. Starfish, what about you? Yeah, I enjoy your presence.
I'm all good. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
Uh,
Well then, okay.
Yeah, I think
On
that's
that
it.
note, we're going to call it a day for this video. I'll link the IPA in the description. Yeah, thank you very much, Tristan, for coming on this time. Obviously, we're gonna do a few more of these later on, But for now, yeah, this is it for this one. So please like, subscribe, and check out the rest of Saint Talks. By the time that this one comes out, there should be a good chunk of episode. There should be a decent number. So yeah, check it out. So check it out if you're able. And
If there's two things to end this off of, one thing about the IPA, we have the most unusual logo out there. Okay, you're not gonna see a league with Grap Locked, Morpico, and what I don't Indeedee on the logo. And so the second thing to end off is you should definitely subscribe and watch some Saint Talks.
yes,
But yeah,
please,
with that,
please,
thank you,
give
Saint,
a
for having
comment.
me.
Of course. Thank you, Tristan, for joining. we went on quite a tangent towards the end, but I think it was worth it for sure. So yeah, see you guys next time. Peace.